everybody, here we are at Country Gardens. It's September and we're starting to think about what we want to do to get the pond ready for the fall and the winter to be sure our fish are healthy as they can be going into those cold months ahead. I've assembled some things here that you may need to get your pond ready. Ideally, you want to keep out as many leaves from the pond as possible. One way to do that is to cover the pond with a net. We put this net over here in a teepee fashion, okay, so that as the leaves fall, they hit the net and roll off to the side. If you lay the net straight across the surface of the water, as they fall, they get wet and can pull the net into the water. We want to try to avoid that. There also is a deluxe pond tent, which would create a tent over the pond for you. We have that in various sizes that would work to keep the leaves out as well. Not just the pond, we want to make sure we cover our streams as well. If you can't cover the stream, be sure you take the leaves out of there on a regular basis. As they build up in the stream, they may dam up the water and divert the water out of the pond. You also want to be sure you're checking your skimmer on a regular basis, especially in the fall. If you get a lot of leaves in there, it can starve the pump for water, as it can't get through the skimmer. If you don't want to put something over the top of the pond, you can just use a skimmer net and scoop the leaves off the surface on a regular basis. That could mean daily as the leaves start to fall later in the season. Second thing we want to talk about is what should we be feeding the fish and how often. As the water temperatures decrease, and they are starting to now with the cooler nights, we're going to switch to a cold water or a spring and fall food. That's going to be easy for the fish to digest. We're also going to cut back on the frequency and the amounts that we're feeding the fish. We'll start maybe going every other day rather than daily, into every fourth day, once a week, so that late October, when the water temperature has dropped below 50 degrees, we'll stop feeding completely. There's still going to be plenty in the pond for the fish to eat, and they'll nibble off the algae and things like that. But once the water temperature drops below 50, it's important that you stop feeding. We won't feed again until spring. You'll notice I left all the plants in the pond with my net over there. As long as the plants are green and in good condition, we want to leave them in there. Anything that's starting to die back, trim off the roots. Anything that's floating, leave it and then discard and compost that. For any of that organic matter that you do get dropped into the bottom of the pond, such as the decaying plants or the leaves, you want to be using a beneficial bacteria that's formulated for the colder water temperatures. It could be in a dry form, it could be in a liquid form, but you want to use that to accelerate the breakdown of organic matter to keep the pond healthy through the winter months. Any of that organic matter left on the bottom as it decays releases a gas in the winter months that can be toxic to the fish if it's trapped below the ice. We're going to talk a little bit later about what to do with setting up a de-icer and a aerator in order to make sure there is a hole open in the ice at all times for the fish during the winter months. Thank you.